Hello guys, and welcome to another Zimaleta. In today's video we're going to be disassembling the crankshaft. I do want to make sure I'm saying it right. It is going to be the crankshaft. I already have disassembled the crankshaft main bearings in the last video, and now I want to pull out the actual crankshaft assembly just out of here. Now you might be wondering, if this is your first time like watching my channel, why am I taking this engine apart? Am I getting ready to rebuild it or something like that? Well, I have 3 of these engines. One of them locked up in my Sprinter, that's a 2012, and I bought another one that's locked up, and I have one that's a runner down there. So we're going to be swapping out the 2012 Sprinter that's locked up, but before we do that, I do want to make sure I find out, why do these engines lock up in the first place? So I already did a lot obviously to this engine. As you could see already, the head is out, you know, and of course the oil pan is off, and the oil pump is out, and everything, like all the timing chain and stuff components is off. And upon removing it, I found a lot of interesting things, like for instance, there was water in exhaust manifolds. So there was like a lot of water there, and it was staying, despite the fact that I got this engine without the oil pan. So it's not like you know, somehow well, I don't know like how to say it, because I'm thinking about like 2 things at the same time. So I couldn't really inspect to see if the oil itself had water in it, because it got to me without no oil pan. Okay, so when I actually disassembled it, I didn't let no water get on it or nothing, and the way the exhaust manifolds are, it would be quite impossible in getting the water in there, because there's a turbo in the way and stuff like that. So the only way that the water could have ended up in exhaust manifolds is if it came out of the firing chambers themselves, where the pistons are. So, and that's actually where it came out. Like I found clear indication that there was water inside the chambers, because there was rust in them, and found some leaves inside as well. Like you could tell they've been in there for a while, like they had their time to decompose. And the oil pump, when I removed it and inspected, the oil pump appeared to have the normal type of oil in it, so it wasn't mixed with water. So this engine apparently was hydrolocked with the water. Now, why did the water end up in the engine? Could it be the fact that somebody maybe overheated this engine, and then the head gasket failed, and that's how the water got inside? Or could it be the oil cooler gasket that failed and water got inside that way? But if that happened, then I think oil should have had water in it. So and I removed the main bearings in the last video, guys, and the engine still does not rotate, so it wasn't the main bearings that was causing this engine to be locked up. So it's not that. Also, upon inspection in the last video, you'll see I definitely could see there could have been some rod knock, because they're kind of loose a little bit. I don't think they're supposed to be that loose. However, the main bearings look good. So yeah, so let's go ahead and actually remove the crankshaft and inspect anything on the other side. Maybe we're gonna see something else. But the pistons themselves are not falling out, like even if you tap on them, so they're kind of stuck. It could be the fact that the rings, because they got water on them, they got rust, and sort of like they locked up against the chamber. So that happened. Right, so here things are. One thing, before pulling it out, I will explain that this right here is the crankshaft piece. It's all shiny, and there's no cuts or grooves in it. Like, it looks good. So we're going to be removing these bolts. This is what's holding it all together, and also we have this little lid here, so we're gonna have to remove that as well, because I'm pretty sure it's not gonna come out with it being in the way. So I guess probably gonna start on that first. Let's see. What are you doing?
It has 100%.
Good. I don't need a phone signal. Thank you so much. Just take it back in the house or something. I really don't need it here.
Do you need it to be in the garage?
Put it in the garage, yeah. Okay, so I removed this bolts. Gonna use a little tray for them. One was already missing. Okay, so we also have these bolts. That should be okay. It's probably gonna come out as one piece. And now it's time for us to actually go on to the next section. Let's see, this is not for this situation, so the ones we need I have right here. The interesting thing about it is, guys, there is two different size bolts. That's hard. I'm just gonna use another one. When your hands are oily, it's tough to remove these sockets. But this is E16, these three, and these are E18. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna be doing, switching them out. And yeah, it looks like they are pretty stuck. That's not fun. A lot of these bigger ones, they're giving me a hard time. Same thing I had with the engine head when I'm removing it. All these bolts are just stuck. Good. At least something somewhere is loose. It's really making me work for it. Okay, not too bad. Okay, that's kind of solidly stuck. And that's not bad. Okay, and they're stuck. Okay, now that has a lot of oil. Okay. So some of these have in excess of oil, and the oil looks good, so that's a good thing. It means that the water was just localized in the actual burning chamber, where it caused it to hydrolock. And I'm really not sure if I could really call it hydrolock anymore. However, that's what I think happened. So, but what do you guys think? Because I'm kind of like wondering at this point, what has really happened to cause the pistons to get so stuck? Because at this point, that's what I can tell that happened. However, I don't know if the valves got bent, because we haven't removed that other head yet, so that can also be causing an issue. But these valves here seem to be okay, so maybe bent valves on that side, you know, I don't know, and that's probably why it's locking things up. But we're gonna remove this, I guess, at first. I have another type of number 14 that you could use instead of the 18s on these. It seems like not really. This is really slippery. Why did it work on the head? a little bit confused. No, that's a perfect fit for that. Wow. What's going on here? How is it possible? So that's a perfect fit. It appears to me that even though that socket does work, something's not right. Something's not right. Like that one seems like it's a bigger bolt. Like with these, I'm almost wondering, is it somehow different? Because it works for this one, the E16. So that's the E16. I think I just confused you guys and myself all at the same time. All of these are E16. So it looks like I've been using a E-socket, E18, where an E16 should have been used. I'm lucky I didn't actually break anything. Alright guys, so if you have stock bolts that's like stripped and you want to pull them out, this is the kind that stripped for me, even though I used E-socket, then you could use a kit like this. You could find which one most closely resembles your bolt. Now whenever they strip, probably this one would work best, or even this one can work. But whenever you start removing them, you notice how it like grabs onto the bolt. So that's actually what happens. So I'm gonna see if this is going to work. So definitely it's grabbing on. This other one, it's too small. So you take a hammer. I have one over here, and you tap it in like that. And you install one of these. So seems like it's not working right now, but this does actually grab and pulls it out. But I'm thinking I may have to go smaller, something like this, and just tap this on instead. It's actually chewing down on it. It's not good enough. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to heat it some more. I made a mistake by forcing this bolt, even though I didn't apply that much strength, but sometimes I forget how much strength I have, and I just chew that bolt right up, you know. This was the original socket I was using. So we're gonna heat that, and we're also going to heat over here. Because you gotta get that bolt heated. I wish it was coming out, but it wasn't, but it isn't. It just seems like it's not enough for it to grab. That's highly disappointing. That's what happens when you make a mistake and you just push things a little too far. If you know it's not coming out, just don't force it, because then you're gonna have this number happening. It's alright. It's just, this is not what I was hoping for. I mean, now, yeah, there's other ways of doing it. I don't like any of them at this point. Could always weld on a piece, pull it out. I mean, after all, I have a lot of space here. Could do that. But anyways, I'm gonna have to think and get back to you guys. I got a number 11 socket. I'm just gonna see if it can do anything. But the 11 does fit this bolt style. No, it's too far gone.